Okay.
We're live!
We're live.
We're live now, and I've done the tweet now. There we go.
Wow, yeah, I
I've
see
just
it.
realised there's another stage to this, which is that we then go and retweet it in our individual.
I literally have just done that.
Excellent. I'm
Yeah.
doing it now. There we
Yeah.
go, we're live.
We are live. We are live. We are alive and live.
I'm live with Jan now. Right
Yes.
now. Retweet.
Live from the Hollywood
Nope.
velodrome. I don't know.
Nope, the Hollywood nothing. We are not live from anything of interest. We are live from our flats in
Yes.
Manchester.
Yes. I want to be very clear that we have not gone anywhere because we are responsible people.
Yes. Oh yeah. No, we haven't gone out anywhere. No.
Yep.
We are stuck indoors, and this is it. And
Yep.
we just thought we'd do something like this. Now, what I've now done is I've already lost the URL, so I can't go and find out if there's anyone who... I mean, nobody will be talking to us yet. There won't be anybody watching yet. It always takes a little while. But
Yeah.
it's a good idea to go to the... Oh, no, there is! Oh, Maya's here! Oi, oi! Hello, Maya. And,
Hello.
and Ashley's here. Serious Disness. So there's no on-screen chat, so I'll read out certain things that people say.
Okay.
Serious Disness at medium distance. Never mind. I can't read. So
Medium Disness.
if anybody wants to say anything to us in the chat, feel free to do that. In the meantime, we're just going to sort of talk to each other.
Yes.
And that's what we're going to do. So, hi, Jahan.
Oh, yeah, okay. I've got the video up now. Oh, wait, I need to mute it.
Yes,
so that
you
I
absolutely
can.
do.
There it is.
For that moment when you had the sound up, did it sound like both our voices were going through correctly?
Yes.
Because this is something I never... It's very difficult to ascertain whether the volume levels are correct when you start a video like this.
Why can I still hear the audio? I've muted it on YouTube. Have you got the audio on there?
I tell you what, I haven't got my headphones on. That might be it.
That'll be it. Yeah. Put headphones on.
Headphones on.
Yeah.
Hadn't thought of that. Good point. The headphones are now on. Now can you hear it still?
Yes.
Right. That's not explained by the headphones problem. I think you're going to have to just close your browser or something.
Okay.
I mean, it's on a delay anyway, so it's
Oh, wait, no, right, I see.
Oh.
Right, no, I understand. I had it on open and streaming on Twitter on YouTube.
Yes, of course.
As well.
Of course.
So, let's get this all sorted and technically coherent.
Right. Oh, dear.
Then
I
can...
You're in for a long wait, viewers, because we've already been at this for a while, trying to get it technically coherent.
Yeah. There.
Hooray!
Right. I'm going to call this technically coherent.
Great. Well, hey, Jahan.
Hello.
Probably the majority of people watching this won't have seen your face before. So this is
Won't they?
No, probably not, right?
I mean, you literally post a picture of my face on every episode.
That's different. As you well know, when you see someone's face in a picture, it's completely different to seeing it moving about and doing all the weird slobbery things it does.
That's true. I'll be slobbering a lot more on this video podcast than you're used to. So, I don't know.
Most of the slobbering on the podcast. That's what the editing process is.
Yeah, it's mostly just removing the slobber.
Yeah. So that's Jahan, everybody. You probably know me because this is on my YouTube channel. What you might or might not know is that I'm a podcastman now, and I have two podcasts, and this is one of them. It's called Serious Disness, and in it, myself and Jahan on this side, just checking what side he was on.
Okay, I thought you were waiting for me to introduce myself, or you'd forgotten my name.
No, but if you have a canned introduction that you'd like to spiel off, then feel free to do that.
I mean, I don't
Right.
I'm Jahan. You know me. If you're in this stream, it's because presumably you already know who we are.
No, there's no reason to imagine that people watching this know who you are, because this is going out on my YouTube channel to anyone who's ever subscribed to my YouTube channel. So
right, okay.
Yeah,
Well, then I'm Jahan Rana Singh. I am a man. I do things. I am one half of the Serious Disness podcast with Dave. And wait, which direction shall I point in if I want to point to you?
The one you just pointed in. Yes.
This.
Yes.
That, yeah. I podcast with this man. I've known this man for a long time. How long have I known you?
I don't know. Abby, how long have we known each other? Not me and you, me and Jahan. It's a fair while, isn't it? I mean, we know that we started our thing of watching Disney films together in, I think you've told me, was 2012 or even maybe slightly earlier than that.
I think it's 2009. I've known you since then. A decade.
There you go. Slightly more than a decade.
Yes. So that's how long I've known Dave.
Yep.
I am known for being in his house and watching Disney things with him.
Yep.
So that's why we decided to record it.
We have
many years after we should have started recording it.
Yes, we have a podcast called Serious Disness, which was our response to the fact that we hadn't started recording yet. What we did every week, which was we would get together, watch an old Disney film, and then chat about it for a while. And we should have recorded those, but we didn't.
Yes.
So now we have this podcast, Serious Disness. You'll find it on iTunes and various places like that. This is our first live stream of that.
It is.
Because we've just not thought of doing it before, and now we're all in lockdown. Why not? Let's do it.
And now this is the only way it's possible to have a social life anymore. So
exactly,
let's do this.
Exactly. And we thought we'd just key you all in on it, and you could just peer through the keyhole.
Yes.
And so what we're going to do, normally on our podcast, we either talk about the reimagined classics, as I believe we now find that they are called via the menu that they're in on Disney Plus.
Yes.
The Disney remakes. Our series is ostensibly about those films and how nobody, takes them seriously. So we thought we would take them deadly seriously, watch them, actually evaluate them without just grumping about either changes or saying they're brilliant because they're in live action or whatever.
Yes.
But then chat about them. And we've discovered that, I don't know about you, but I've discovered that the series has got sillier as it's gone on. And we started a sort of spin-off series that's also in the same feed called Frivolous Disness, where we talk about anything related to animation at all. Yes. And that's probably what this is going to be, because we haven't watched a film. We haven't watched a film specially for this or anything.
No, I've watched a film.
Have you?
But yes.
Ever
but,
or
not yet? I mean ever,
and
recently, but not for this.
No. So here we are. Normally what we do is we watch the films separately, and then Jahan comes around my house and we record a podcast about it. This time we haven't watched anything, and we're around each other's houses, and we're just doing a stream. So
we're not round each other's houses.
I didn't mean that. I mean, what I meant is that we individually are in our individual houses, or flats, respectively.
That's the opposite of what you said.
Yes. Well, what's the right way to say it? We're our own house.
We're in our own houses.
That's it. We're at home. That's the phrase.
We're at home. That's generally commonly accepted phrase.
So we're at home.
How you describe when you're at home.
So that's what we are, and who we are, and what we're doing is slightly more ambiguous, because we thought we'd just go live without having really talked about it or established a theme or anything. So, we have two vague ideas of what to talk about. One is a letter that we've received. And another is that I thought we've already done an episode about Disney Plus, but when we did it, it was all speculative. But we've now both got Disney Plus, so I thought we could talk about what we've been doing with it.
Exactly. We've now got Disney Plus and been put in a position where Disney Plus is literally the only thing it's legal to do anymore. Yeah. So it's given us a very direct and full contact exposure with Disney Plus that gives us some scope to talk about it. Yeah.
Well, let's do that. We seem to have started. So, what have you been watching on Disney Plus thus far?
What have I been watching on Disney? Well, I mean, if anyone follows me on Twitter, they'll know I have completed a very significant life goal in the last day.
I follow you on Twitter, and I don't know this.
You don't know?
No.
Okay. It's genuinely, I think it's one of the most monumental things that's actually happened to me.
Wow.
In possibly years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Do you remember? I must have talked to you about this before. Do you remember that I was the only person on Earth who hadn't previously seen Cool Runnings?
Jahan, I can inform you that you are the second to last person to have seen Cool Runnings because Abby hasn't seen Cool Runnings, as I found out today.
Really?
Yeah.
So you've seen it?
Of course, everyone's seen it.
Of course, everyone's seen it. So wait, why has Abby not seen it?
I don't know. I feel like it'd be fruitless to push her for details of the time she didn't see it. But let's try. Abby, can you give us any details about specifically the circumstances that led to the time you didn't see Cool Runnings? That means you still haven't seen it. Yeah, that's the sort of answer I was expecting. Yeah. My story of having seen it is that we went through a brief phase of my mum going to the library and borrowing videos from the library, because we were never a family who rented videos, because that cost money and there was an objection to that. Given the short amount of time you keep the video for and so on. But when it was discovered that you could do this from the local library, we did have a phase where Mum would essentially try and make me watch sensible things instead of just cartoons and stuff. So, yeah, she would go and get videos out, and one of them was Cool Runnings. So that's where I saw it.
Right. And I assume that's where everyone saw Cool Runnings. It's not a film that... Look, I'm sure people went to see Cool Runnings in the cinema, having looked forward to Cool Runnings. But for everybody else... Yeah. It's just a film that you will have seen.
Yeah.
Because why wouldn't you? It's just something that happens in life. I noticed actually in the chat, which I've just started paying attention to.
Oh, lovely.
That there are other people now. Oh. Like, in fact, the switchboard is lighting up with apparently other people who hadn't previously seen Cool Runnings. Which is crazy. I didn't know that.
Odd, yeah.
Because why wouldn't you have seen it? That was my first thought. Watching it, why didn't I see this?
Yeah.
Who wouldn't have seen this? It's just one of those films that, of course, you can't quantify when you saw it, because it just gets downloaded into you at some point, right?
Yeah.
Presumably,
that's how Cool Runnings is distributed. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Cool Runnings is communicated via via spit droplets. That
you have to be really careful not to get it.
Exactly, if you're within 2 feet of somebody, you can transmit the knowledge of having seen Cool Runnings.
As an anecdotal example of how easy it is to see Cool Runnings, we have a friend, Tom, who can't watch Cool Runnings because anytime he does watch Cool Runnings, he ends up talking in a Jamaican accent, and that's not socially acceptable. And it's not something he's trying to do to be funny or anything. It happens to him, and he needs to avoid that. But the fact, and when he told me that, the part of that story, like, you latch onto the bit about how the accent comes out of him or whatever. You go like, you go like, oh, I can see how that would happen, or you don't understand how. The part you never question is the part where it's anytime I see Cool Runnings, because that's just the sort of film that you've obviously seen a few times. It's on sometimes.
That's it. And how could you have avoided it? Well, I did, and I don't understand how or why. Like, there's
Dad is in the chat and he's saying, have I seen it? He doesn't think he has. I don't think you've seen it, Dad, so you're okay there.
But this is the biggest thing that confused me.
Yeah,
my brother had seen Cool Runnings,
right?
And when did because me and my brother were very close growing up.
Yeah,
when did my brother secretly go off and watch Cool Runnings without me?
Yeah.
Why? I don't understand this.
And when does he think he saw it on the telly, at the cinema?
I don't know. I don't know that he could specify, because who can specify these things?
Well, I can. See, I'm different. One of the ways in which I'm different from you is that I know exactly which films I've seen in the cinema, because
that's true.
There's not a tremendous amount of them. And I think you see films a bit more than I do. So I know what films I saw, certainly in 1993 anyway, or whatever.
Yes.
That was when this came out, wasn't it?
Yes, that's correct.
This is a sort of Mrs. Doubtfire era film, a film I saw at the cinema.
And which I also watched this weekend.
Right.
But yeah, no, I mean, that's the thing. For me, like, it's not so much that I can't remember when it was seen, it's just the idea that my brother saw it and I didn't.
Yeah.
At that time is weird. That's just weird. I don't understand why that is.
That is weird.
It's like the other bit of evidence that I always use that it's weird that I haven't seen it is the former footballer Michael Owen. I don't know if you have any cultural awareness of him at all.
Yes.
You do?
No.
No, right. He was very famous in the late 90s, but
I'm being slightly facetious. I recognize the name, but I can't picture a face.
One thing that he is known for subsequently is he notoriously and inexplicably hates films.
Films?
Yeah, films.
Okay.
Like, he doesn't understand the medium of film. He has vocally expressed dislike for the idea of films. And he's seen, I think, between 10 and 20 films in his life.
So he'd be able to tell you which one of those he saw at the cinema. And
yes.
He would know the backstory of him seeing each film.
Like 50% of the few films he's seen are almost all the Rocky films, for example.
Right. See, I can't even strictly tell you that I can name every game of football that I've played, like where that was, and I'm sure you can imagine it's less than 5.
Sure, Michael Owen can list every film he's ever seen, and one of them is Cool Runnings.
Yeah.
So this man, this person who was sworn off, monk-like, the medium of film completely, had seen Cool Runnings. Members of my family had seen Cool Runnings.
Yeah.
But I hadn't.
No.
And I did, basically at some point I had kind of resolved that maybe I'm not meant to see Cool Runnings. Maybe if I saw Cool Runnings, the world would end in some way. But then 2 things happened. A, the world kind of did end.
In some way, yeah.
In some way. And B, Disney released a service that meant that I had 24/7 streaming access to Cool Runnings from every single device I own. At the exact moment the government passed a law that made it illegal for me to do anything other than stay at home and watch Cool Runnings.
That is stipulated in the bill, as I understand.
I think it is. So I thought, you know what, maybe it's time I watch Cool Runnings.
Yeah.
So I did. And
what do you think?
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's all right, isn't it?
Yeah, it's nice. It's a nice film about some Jamaican bobsledders, and
it's not going to change your life in any way at all.
No, but it's also a film that's like it's just cheerful, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Like you watch it and you get to the end of it, and it's sort of like this film contains every single cliche that could possibly exist in a film of this type. But it's just nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, it's just a nice film in which some nice Jamaican lads have a nice time and overcome prejudice about Jamaican bobsledders. And at the end, everybody slow claps them in that way that I don't believe has ever happened in real life, but happens in every single sports event that is in a sports movie.
Yes.
As someone who actually watches sports, I can tell you, no, that's not a real thing.
No.
That thing where one person stands up with a determined but vaguely tearful look in their eyes and starts clapping really slowly, and then everyone else starts clapping at normal speeds. Yeah. That's not how clapping works. No. If you're clapping someone, you just actually applaud.
Yeah, you just actually do. Because you're signaling your approval, and slow clapping does the opposite of that.
Yeah, exactly.
It seems sarcastic.
It does. But
where have we got that trope from? There must have been an original time when it did make sense in our film for someone to do that.
What, the slow build into a round of applause thing?
Yeah.
I don't know. I cannot think of a thing that it's actually... I can't think of a time where that actually happened in real life, that a filmmaker or a creator of artwork saw that and be like, oh, that's good. I like that. That's a thing that I should incorporate into my work. It's like, no, I'm pretty sure that's literally never happened in real life ever.
No.
But I believe that's true of everything that's in Cool Runnings. Like,
right.
I've read up the reality of what happened. It doesn't sound.
Oh, I wasn't aware it was based on any true story at all. It is it?
Oh yeah, it's based on the real story of the 1988 Jamaican bobsled team, who, yes,
that makes sense. That tracks.
Yes, exactly. Yes, they did enter into the 1988 Winter Olympics as the first Jamaican bobsled team. Yes, they were underdogs. Yes, they crashed in their last race, but everyone still liked them because, they were underdogs.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Right.
No, they weren't actually in with any chance of winning. No, none of the people in the film bear any resemblance to real people. No, they didn't have a disgraced ex-American coach who was anything like John Candy. But yeah, it's just nice. It's just a nice film about some nice guys, really well cast.
Yeah.
Like, everyone in it's like really charismatic. It's funny. It is inspiring in the way that a really generic sports film wants to be inspiring. But it does that. It accomplishes that. And I just came to the end and I watched it and I did feel like, Chris McFeely is saying here that he can't say he ever thought of Cool Runnings as the mythologized platonic ideal of a film that everyone's seen. But Chris, you're wrong, because it is.
Oh, well, that's debunked then.
Yes, exactly.
I have only one. I found a way of being grumpy about Cool Runnings when it came out.
Oh, okay. Right.
And that was that, do you remember when Wayne's World came out?
You stressed that really weirdly.
You said, how do you want me to stress it?
It's Wayne's World. It's not Wayne's World.
Sod off! No more is it Wayne's World than it's Robin Hood. This is an Americanism that I'm not going to go along with. Wait,
what?
It's Wayne's World. It's his world. It's Wayne's World. What do you mean Wayne's World? It's not like Waterworld.
Maybe I'm saying that because that's how they say Wayne's World in the film.
Maybe they do. It's been a while. I can't remember.
Because Wayne's World is not just a theoretical concept. It's that's just applied to the film.
No, yeah, it is
outside the film. They frequently use the phrase Wayne's World in the film.
Yeah, it's a show that they do.
And they say it, Wayne's World.
They do, but they also say it with, American accents, and I'm not doing that. It's Wayne's. This is something. I don't know if you're aware of this, Jan, but this is something that me and Chris constantly have.
I have heard.
Yeah,
Chris has literally just said Chaos Emeralds in the chat.
Now, but we disagreed on that last time. I thought that I said it differently to him. Chaos Emeralds, and I can't remember which way I said it and why. But anyway, all right, okay. However you want me to pronounce Wayne's World, when that film came out.
Yeah.
I remember being annoyed at it because all of the kids in my class started going, excellent, and they didn't think that was from Bill and Ted. They thought it was from Wayne's World, and I was like, mate, I've been saying that for at least 3 years, and in that voice, and you're not going to go around now trying to pretend that it's been invented because of Wayne's World. And in a similar way, the kids in my class liked to quote the bit, which I believe is in Cool Runnings. I can mainly remember it from kids quoting it and saying it was from Cool Runnings, where they say, the golden rule, he who has the gold makes the rules, which had been said in Disney's Aladdin a year previously, and presumably elsewhere. I don't begin to imagine that it was invented for Disney's Aladdin, but it certainly was in Disney's Aladdin. And then if it was also in Cool Runnings, then that precedent had already been set. But no, nobody would listen. We're all children, so we don't watch Disney films. We watch Cool Runnings. I'm 11 years old. I was very cross at them and got quite mardy about it.
As we've established, Cool Runnings is also a Disney film.
It is also a Disney film.
And I don't remember that line being in Cool Runnings.
Well, I do remember it being in Cool Runnings, but that could be because either A, I could have seen a slightly different cut, that happens, or B, I had any reason to notice anyone saying any such thing. It is said in a different way, and I can't remember the different way, and I'm also not going to try and remember because something tells me that it's just said in a Jamaican way, and there's no point me trying to repeat that back.
Yeah, you're not going down that road.
No, but it's parsed slightly different. It's not said in exactly the same terms, but it is the golden rule. whoever has the gold makes the rules. There's a line like that
okay.
I'm pretty sure is in the film, or at least was in a similar film out at the same time that also made white children in my town do Jamaican accents and say phrases from whatever it was. Ashley doesn't believe Cool Runnings is an actual thing, so that's something that we need to work on, I suppose.
I mean, hey, if you have Disney Plus, which chances are you do, if you're on this if you're listening to this podcast, Cool Runnings is on there. And for you
sorry, what he means is that Cool Runnings is on there. He said Cool Runnings, but that's not what it's called.
Wait, are you making fun of me, or did I actually say that?
I am on about 50-50. You said it a bit like that, and I've just pounced.
Cool Runnings.
Cool story, bro.
Cool Runnings. The runnings that are cool.
I don't really quite get the title, actually. Yeah, Cool Runnings. What is that? Is running?
It's a phrase. It was a phrase that's actually in the film.
What does it mean?
Well, they name the sled that, and they explain in the film
the question.
that it's a Jamaican phrase that means, I'm just checking what it was they said.
Does it
really?
Means, oh. Did they have Google in those days for that phrase to refer to?
I don't know, but I don't know if they just made that up either.
I don't care.
According to the main guy from Cool Runnings in the film Cool Runnings, Cool Runnings means peace be the journey.
Oh.
And I don't know if they've completely made that up, because they made up all of Cool Runnings.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Within the context of Cool Runnings, that's what Cool Runnings means.
Okay. So this is all because your answer to what have you been watching on Disney Plus is Cool Runnings.
Cool Runnings, yes, exactly.
Anything else? Or have you just watched Cool Runnings back to back over and over again since the lockdown began?
I have an entire lifetime of Cool Runnings to catch up on, apparently.
Yeah. I think you can see it 3 times, and that's a normal amount of times, I think.
Yeah, probably, yeah. So no, I have literally only watched it the once so far, and that was yesterday.
Right.
No, I do think though that my watching of Cool Runnings is emblematic of the wider state of Disney Plus in general.
Yes.
Insofar as I've enjoyed the service a lot so far, because it is something that, I mean, we talked about Disney Plus in our previous episode.
Yeah.
And one of the things I've been pleased about with it is that it feels comprehensive. You know what I mean? It feels like something that it feels distinct from other streaming services. In the other streaming services feel very fleeting, and they feel, I mean, honestly, one of the things that I have with other streaming services is they just feel like big expanded versions of what TV networks already were, which is to say, it's just this random generation game style conveyor belt of content that, yeah, there's some things you can rely on to be there, but everything else is quite fleeting and quite ephemeral, and you're no more guaranteed to find a specific thing on Netflix or on Amazon Prime Video than you are for it to just be on TV on any given week.
Yeah.
Which is not necessarily what I wanted when streaming services became a thing.
Yeah.
Like, when people were talking about this idea of Netflix, this mythical thing that the Americans had and that we didn't, I had thought, oh wow, is it like, so you pay like £5-6 a month, and then it's just a service that you just have on, and you type in whatever film you can think of, and it'll just be there. And I thought, that sounds absolutely amazing. And then, like, there's loads to recommend about Netflix and on Netflix, but that's not what it is.
No.
And neither is Amazon, and to my understanding, neither is Hulu or whatever. Disney Plus, within the defined context of like the Disney umbrella of, you know, the Disney library of family-friendly content, kind of is that. Like, it sort of feels like the Disney Vault is open, and anything that we want within reason that isn't adult-oriented or unspeakably racist is in there and can now be accessed.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what I wanted from it.
Yeah.
And it feels like it's there, and it doesn't feel like it's going away. I mean, who knows? Like, you know how weird streaming rights are.
Yeah.
But I don't see any reason why, for example, like all the Disney canon or all the Marvel movies or all the Star Wars movies, why a situation won't come around. Sorry, my voice is going a little bit for some reason, which is annoying, but hopefully it should be fine. I don't see a situation arising with Disney Plus, as seems to happen all the time with Netflix, where I want to watch a film and I know it's on Netflix and I plan to watch it, and the moment I choose to watch it is the moment that it's not there anymore.
Yeah. That happens regularly with Netflix. It happened to me a few days ago.
It happens all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. But I can't see why that would ever happen with Disney Plus. Surely, right? Like, surely, if I want to watch Snow White or Return of the Jedi, like, I'm never going to load up Disney Plus and, Return of the Jedi's not there anymore.
Yeah.
You know, all the other Star Wars films are there, but oh no, we somehow lost the rights to Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Or Tangled or what have you. And well, I say that friend of the podcast, Jeremy Elkayam, has just said, well, it's not quite that yet. I wanted to catch up on the Disney remakes for your podcast, but Jungle Book and Cinderella aren't on yet.
What?
But I can understand yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Although I'm pretty sure Jungle Book is. Like, I'm pretty sure I've seen it on there.
Yeah, let's look that up. I mean, maybe Jeremy, are you American? Because maybe things are different there. But let's have a look. Not Nungle Book. That doesn't turn up anything.
That won't help you. Unless Nungle Book is a better film and you just stumble upon it.
The Jungle Book 2016 is on UK.
Yeah, I thought so. Oh, no, that was someone else. Sorry, I just saw the text. I mean, I have the DVD, so it's not a big deal pop up, but that was Tanuki Billy talking about something else, so ignore the noises that I made and just keep saying words.
But I can actually understand the idea of, they're not there yet. Because I know, and I'm assuming there are rights that they still need to bring back into the fold. But
or in some cases they're just deciding on different launch dates. I mean, as I understand it, today is the digital release date of Rise of Skywalker, but it's not going to be on Disney Plus today. And there's no announcement of when or if it's going to be on Disney Plus. I think
it will be.
Well, we can assume the if, but there's no announcement.
I mean, they've confirmed that it will be.
Oh, they have?
Yeah, like, ages ago, because that's just how things are going to be from now on. But I don't believe that. I don't believe that the concept of Disney Plus is that it's going to be the new thing that, alongside the streaming release, the digital download release and the DVD Blu-ray release, it will also go on Disney Plus on the same day. I would assume that the planned release model is that it'll go on Disney Plus a couple of months after the Blu-rays come out, because otherwise they would never sell any Blu-rays ever again.
Well, yes. I mean, I agree with that. And as someone who wants to continue to purchase Blu-rays because they're better, although I'm already starting to turn around on that, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But as someone who has a vested interest in you are able to get a physical copy of things you really sincerely love, that's kind of what I want to be the model. But I was wondering whether this was them seeing what's coming and going like, well, let's have it. Because if these things aren't... the digital release of Rise of the Skywalker on Amazon and things like that, that means that we're now in a situation where a Disney film is on a rival company's product first. And that's weird.
I mean, but it's a different product. You know what I mean? It's like it's not on the rival company's direct competitor
yes,
product.
And I did to be fair, yes, I didn't look up what it meant that it was on Amazon, and I did assume it meant Prime, but I guess what it means is no, purchase a digital download.
Yeah. That's what it'll mean. It would be very weird if it was on Netflix, say, first. But that's not what's going to happen. It's, it's on-demand subscriptions streaming home will be Disney Plus. And presumably once it goes on Disney Plus, it will then stay there forever in a way that it wouldn't have done on Netflix, even if Disney Plus didn't exist. But I don't think the idea is now that, so 4 months after it's been in the cinema, it'll come out on Blu-ray, digital download, and Disney Plus, all on the same day. No, I think they still want to have a window between those two things so that they can, like I said, sell the individual copies still.
I think you're right. I think you're right about that, but it does cheapen the brand a little bit. When I think about it in those terms, I'm like, oh, so Disney Plus is the dregs.
Well, it's not the dregs. Think of it less as the dregs or as it's the final home. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's the last destination in its journey. And once it gets to Disney Plus, hopefully that's where it'll then stay forever.
Yeah.
So, and I see that. It's just obviously they muddied the waters a little bit recently because you've had stuff like in America, at least, Frozen 2 going to Disney Plus quite quickly and Onward going there straight away. But like that is pretty much entirely just coronavirus related emergency stuff. Yeah. Just because it's an unusual case and they're trying to like adjust to the.
It does create a situation though where we do, or at least certainly I find myself in a similar situation to what we were talking about a minute ago, where you think you know what's on Netflix and you look it up. I see a lot of people all the time talking about how Onward is on Disney Plus, and I go on there, and it ain't there.
No.
That is a problem. One of the things we were talking about is how ridiculous, when we were speculating before Disney Plus came out, on our episode, we talked about how ridiculous it would be if the launches were not global, because that would simply make no sense at all when, post the release of Disney Plus. It makes sense of us, and it still makes sense that for the first few months, there's a teething process where the rights all get sorted out to things that maybe ITV already made a bid or something. But it already feels weird to have different content to stuff that's being discussed on Twitter, which is not region locked.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I reckon there's still teething. I mean, bear in mind, Disney Plus has only been in this country for a month. I know that the last month has felt like 2 years, but it has only been a month. And I'm sure there are still deals that they need to figure out. Yeah. And people they promised first release rights to or whatever, or like theater chains they promised, we'll leave this amount of window between the cinema release and us putting it on this platform. You know what I mean? They've got to keep a lot of different people sweet. But I feel certain that the intended end goal is that they have this international globalized platform that's where everything goes at the end of the day. We put it all out there at the same time, and then that is where it lives, and we won't take it away after that. Well, they better not anyway. They better not take it away. I think there has been some stuff with the American Disney Plus in the time since it launched way back in 2016 or whenever the hell it was now. There were a couple of instances where some stuff that was there at launch did go away. But I think they were sort of weird outlier films. Stuff like the Home Alone movies, I believe, were on there and then went away. But I'm pretty sure that when asked about it, Disney were like, yeah, it was rights weirdness. We plan to bring them back. Like, it's just a thing that's out of our control or whatever.
Okay.
So yeah, that is why I think rights weirdness continues to be why there is any discrepancy and why there is anything stood in the way of what we described as being the ideal version of what this should be. Because looking at Disney Plus and using it so far, it does palpably feel like the intent of it is to be what we wanted it to be.
Yes.
And I like it for that.
Yes.
And yeah, there are weirdnesses about it, and there are things that are weirdly missing, as a couple of people have been saying in the chat. It's super weird that Tailspin isn't on there.
Yeah, it is weird. Like, what are the rights problems with that?
I don't know. I literally don't know. I can't think who else would have
any kind of stake in that, because I'm sure that Disney Channel existed when that came out, I think.
Yeah.
So they would have already had a pipeline to...
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, like the estate of Rudyard Kipling. I don't know, like, but surely they gave away any right they had to complain about any of this the moment they allowed Tailspin to be made.
Yeah,
a process that I still cannot understand. As much as I do genuinely like Tailspin and consider it to be one of the better shows of that era, the very concept of it is mystifying to me.
Yeah, I can make some sense out of it, and the sense that I would make out of it would go about like this. Disney Afternoon exists.
Yeah.
Gummy Bears, so to a lesser extent Wuzzles, Gummy Bears and Ducktales have all worked. And out of those, Ducktales is the most successful. And what Ducktales is, we know, is that they were looking at these European comics or whatever it was, but ostensibly, to look at from a distance and not know the backstory of it, what it looks like they've done is they've taken a recognizable Disney product, which is Donald Duck, and they've turned it into a different genre, like an adventure serial. So from that mold, if you then also look at Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, same thing. So from there to Tailspin makes more sense. Because then you're taking the other recognizable Disney characters and putting them in a new situation.
Or Goof Troop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the answer, isn't it? That must be what happened.
That's the answer. And if I have it right, I think there might have been a discussion at some point of making it like a Launchpad, a Launchpad McQuack based series. But then they pivoted to Baloo at some point.
Well, that is interesting.
But the big difference here is Donald Duck, Goofy, Chip and Dale, these are all Disney characters. Baloo is a literary character. The characters from Jungle Book are literary characters. Like, it's much weirder to shift... it's much less weird to shift Donald Duck, who's always been a character who's quite malleable, and you put him in different settings. Baloo is a character from a Rudyard Kipling novel. Like, this would be if they just decided to make a TV series where, like, Captain Hook is, like, a lawyer. You know what I mean?
But to me, that makes sense, because I think Captain Hook is primarily a Disney character now. Like, or Mary Poppins or someone. But what's another one, though? There must be one that I think of as less a Disney character still. I suppose maybe Alice in Wonderland?
Sure, or like Mulan or Hercules.
Yeah.
And I suppose they did make Hercules the animated series, but no, Hercules is a mythological character. So like that's different.
Yeah,
that's
nobody authored that whose words we have still.
No, exactly. Whereas, the characters from Jungle Book are very specifically from a beloved novel.
Yeah.
Written by an actual author.
Yeah.
And it's really weird that they made a TV series where he's a freight plane like pilot.
Yeah.
And, Shere Khan, famous villain from Rudyard Kipling's The Jungle Book, is like a businessman now.
See, you're right. It's so on the cusp, Jungle Book. Because, this hesitation that's coming from me at this moment is me wondering whether or not to say that I don't know if those would be known characters still, were it not for the Disney Jungle Book. And I'm not sure. I don't know. Because it's just anecdotal. I've never come into contact with the Rudyard Kipling Jungle Book outside the confines of the fact that it's known from the Disney version. But, before the Disney version came out, how famous was it? I guess I don't know.
But, I mean, it continues to be it continues to be like recognized as a book, not
Yeah.
as as a cultural entity that exists independently, aside from the Disney versions of it, like that, like Andy Serkis made that film of it, like a year ago or 2 years ago or whatever, and obviously that felt like it was kind of orbiting in the vicinity of like the cultural reputation of the Disney version. But the only reason that existed is because people do still recognize that the Jungle Book is its own cultural entity. See also the whole Scout movement and the fact that people still know all of the kind of the names from that, from like Arcala and all that, and Baloo from the Scout movement. Like,
I want to register that I have no idea what you're on about at the moment.
No.
What?
You like, you've never been in, you weren't ever in the Scout movement or like culturally aware of it?
Well, I went to Scouts 3 times, I think.
Okay.
But I don't know what it's got to do with the Jungle Book.
Like the different kind of like ranks of sort of, instructors and supervisors within the Scout movement are named after the characters of the Jungle Book.
I didn't know that.
So it's like within any Scout troop, you'll have an Arcala and a Baloo and a Car. And that'll just be one of the members of the, one of the instructors, one of the adults basically will be called stuff like that.
Right.
And, but yeah, I mean, that's an example of, no, the Jungle Book has its own cultural footprint that is aside from Disney's The Jungle Book.
Yes.
In the same way that Peter Pan does.
Peter Pan does, and another one I thought of during this is Wind in the Willows. That's very much... Yeah. That I still don't think of that as a Disney property, even though they tackled it at one point.
Yeah. And I agree that the Disney Jungle Book is particularly iconic.
Yeah.
But I still don't know that gives them the right to make Baloo a freight pilot and have a series where he's battling pirates and have me not question that that's really weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I kind of know what you mean. Yeah.
Again, though, Tailspin is great. It's a really good series, and I want it to be on Disney Plus, and I don't know why it isn't there. It just confuses me, is all I'm saying.
Yeah. Like, if Tailspin wasn't there, and neither was the Jungle Book, then it would be like, oh, okay, there's obviously an issue there.
Mm-hmm.
But that ain't the case.
No. And all the rest of the Disney afternoon shows are there, as far as I'm aware.
I haven't looked extensively in, but like, well, is the Wuzzles on there? Because that's not usually counted. And
let me check.
I suspect that's because maybe it wasn't part of that block. I think it was on a different channel originally. But to me, it was just the cartoon that was on, and then was followed up by Gummy Bears, and then was followed up by Ducktales.
I hope it's on there.
Well, I wouldn't.
It's not there.
No, I'm not surprised. They never allow the Wuzzles, and I thought it was very good. I loved it.
The Wuzzles are banned.
Yeah. Do you know? Have I told you that's the first thing I ever saw in the cinema was the Wuzzles?
What?
Yeah, it was the what I believe was the first episode, Bulls of a Feather. Was the cartoon short airing before Bambi when it went round in 1980, whatever the year that was. And so which was my first film in the cinema. So that was my first thing I saw in the cinema. And my mum was distressed by it. She was, to her, it was like it was like a new. I can't explain it because we think of the Disney TV cartoons as snuggly and pleasant, but to her it was too much input. It was a jump up into a kind of cartoon she'd never seen before, and it was distressing for her to see the direction cartoons were obviously about to go in via this. And to be fair on her, it can't have been 10 years till Ren and Stimpy, so fair enough.
Yeah. I seem to remember you also saying that your parents were equally distressed by those standalone Roger Rabbit shorts that they
That's
made.
just Mum again, yeah. That was
and
again, and I'm not making fun. Like I understand why.
I can understand why as well.
In the case of the Roger Rabbit, that was deliberately meant to be an overwhelming barrage of unpleasant screaming and knives hitting things as a sort of parody of Tom and Jerry and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
The Wuzzles wasn't meant to be that, but still came across as it.
I notice in the chat, Maya Franklin has just asked, is Bonkers on there? And no, that's not on there either.
Right. this is the thing. The more I examine Disney Plus, and I have had this experience, the more I go like, oh, really? Okay. Just to cycle back, because there's been something I've been meaning to say since early on in this conversation, is that I have a cool runnings, which is that until Disney Plus and until last week, I'd never seen Sister Act. And
right, okay.
And Abby used to watch that with her grandma, and so she was like, I kind of encouraged it because I knew that she'd always mentioned this film and she'd never suggested I watch it, and I was like, no, come on, let's watch it. And we had quite a nice time. That's a pleasant film. And similar to Cool Runnings, it's just one of those films everyone's seen. It's one of those films where you know everything all the beats are what you imagine it'll be.
Yeah.
But
it's just a nice version of that.
Just a nice film, yeah.
Yeah. I need to watch that partly because one of my longtime colleagues, Laura, is obsessed specifically with Sister Act 2 Back in the Habit.
Interesting. We've started watching Sister Act 2 Back in the Habit now.
Yeah.
And it's it's not as good, put it that way. It's not a terrible film, and it's a very interesting film in the sense that as I'm sure you're vaguely aware, have you seen either film?
I have not. No, I need to because I owe it to my colleague.
Yeah. So I'll
do this.
I'll try and shy away from spoilers, but that's not something you're going to get out of Sister Act 1 or 2. Well, I haven't finished 2. Who knows what happens later on.
Who knows what happens at the end of Sister Act 2.
But
all bets are off at that point.
It pertains to Whoopi Goldberg is a cabaret singer who witnesses a crime and has to go undercover as a nun. And while there, she encourages the nuns to sing better, and that's basically it. Well,
she's a nun on the run, not to be confused with Nuns on the Run.
Yes. I was waiting for the whole film to which one of these is going to be Robbie Coltrane, and none of them. That's only half true. Like, it took about partway through, I was like, this is a different film from Nuns on the Run, isn't it?
I thought you were saying it was only half true that one of them isn't Robbie Coltrane.
Half of one of them is Robbie Coltrane.
Which half?
Something you might be interested in is that there's an old nun that we were trying to place the voice of for most of the film, and it turns out she's the Lady Gargoyle from Hunchback, and that's her voice. So you'll be able to spend time with that voice. And anyway, Sister Act 2,
yes,
is an odd decision for them to have made. It was, I think, made in 93 with the first one coming out in 92. So it's a quick sequel that they rushed out the door. And there's a certain swiftness to it. You can tell that certainly the establishing scenes, they more or less go, Whoopi Goldberg, we're the nuns, we're back. Would you come back and pretend to be a nun again? And she goes, why? And they go, will you come and do it? And she goes, okay. And it's very, very quickly. Just they rush to the point where we can get on with making more Sister Act. When they do, the premise of that film is that a load of urban youth who would rather spend their time rapping are misbehaving in, for some reason they're in a nun school, and it's just a Catholic school. But the thing is,
let's go with nun school.
Nun school. They are like the film. The direction of the film this time is that now. So in the first one, there were some stuck-up nuns, and in came funky, groovy Whoopi Goldberg. Well, in the new one, Whoopi Goldberg is still put forward as the protagonist and the groovy, funky Channel 27 one, but the kids are, we can tell, cooler than her. But the film wants you to think they're just unpleasant rabble. And so there's this odd sense of like, you're going like, no, those kids are really good at rapping. Like, why are you having a go at them? They're not like doing. They're not even doing graffiti or anything. They're just like, they just don't care about nuns. And the film wants you to think that that's really rude of them. And, now, it quickly settles down, and like once you get through the beats where like it's just weird to watch her go like, hey kids, I'm doing a rap. You think I'm cool cause I rap. And the film wants you to think that she's being cool. And the kids are going like, hey, yeah, you're all right, sister, whatever. That bit doesn't work. What does work is that they seem almost accidentally, just by reaching out to like theatre schools or whatever, they've cast as the main one of these kids Lauryn Hill. Who
I know.
Who doesn't go on to be Lauryn Hill in real life for like a year or 2 years. Like, she's right on the cusp of it. But here she is, just honestly playing a child in a film about some kids. And it's really odd, but she does stand out as like there's sort of 3 or 4 best ones, and she's in the best ones quotient by far. And there's a really weird bit where Whoopi Goldberg comes upon them all rapping together, and it's a bit ambiguous as to whether or not this is one of the scenes where you're supposed to disapprove of the rapping, because it's like, actually, like, this is all right. Like, what's the problem with this? They've obviously got a skill here, and it just turns out that they didn't script that, and Lauryn Hill just did it, and it's like, okay, you're evidently quite good at this. So that was what led me to look up who it is. It's like, I've heard of you. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so I've nothing to fear from Sister Act 2.
Not to fear, no. Especially watching it on your own. There's a certain cringe factor to it, but that doesn't matter when you're just watching a film yourself, does it?
Yes, and that's how people watch films now.
Yeah.
It's the only legal way to watch films anymore. So that's fine. And once again, it's the perfect time for me to watch this. Like, there has never been a better time for me to finally watch both Sister Act films. I can watch them both at the same time. I've got 2 different screens. Like,
don't do that.
I will. If I can.
No. Stop.
If I've got my TV screen. I've got my TV screen, my phone, my laptop. I could watch both Sister Act films and Cool Runnings at the same time, and I can really just power load everything I missed in the 90s.
I wonder if since we're on camera, would it be appropriate to explain to viewers, visually speaking, what all that squeaky noise is on your end?
Oh, well, that is Iroh. She a bird. Can you hear? Like, is she loud?
Well, she was just then.
Okay, Iroh, come. Iroh.
Tanuki Billy, Disney haven't done a live-action Tarzan. There was a... No, actually, I think was it live action or was it CG? A few years ago, there was a Tarzan, but it didn't go down very well.
Oh yeah, no, that was not Disney. That was someone else, and I saw it. It was middling at best. This is the source of the noises.
Parrot. There it is. Yes. If you've listened to our episode about Disneyland, that's the parrot that Jahan was saying he would be able to make friends with Jafar with if he'd taken it to Disneyland Paris.
This is the parrot that when we spoke about the Aladdin episode, that I said that I had watched Disney's Aladdin with and found it to be an inspiring look at the kind of lifestyle I want to lead with this parrot. I want to be able to conspire and plot with this bird in the same way that Jafar does, because I want to be Jafar in so many ways.
Yeah. Now, what came first? The Jafar love or the parrot?
The Jafar love, right. I think. I was a relatively late convert to birds.
Yeah.
And now look at me.
Yeah, you've got a bird on you.
I literally have a bird on me. Yeah. Yes, indeed, it is the same type of bird that John Tron has, but we're better than him in essentially all ways.
Apart from viewership.
Apart from viewership. But yeah. No, this is a relatively late development in terms of, by the standards of my development of personal interest, but it's not going away now. These things live for like 20 years.
Oh, no. Oh, dear.
20 to 30 years.
Crikey. Okay. Well, you're in that for the long haul then.
Yeah, no, I'm not even a third of the way through this. So yeah, there's that. And that's what that noise was. Yes. And if you hear any similar noises from similar podcasts we do in the next 20 years, it will be that. So don't worry about it. So are we now talking less about Disney Plus and more about just things we watched.
Well, yeah, but we watched them on Disney Plus. Okay, here's what I've watched on Disney Plus.
Sure.
1.5 Sister Act films.
Yeah.
Some episodes of the recent Mickey Mouse cartoon.
Is that all there or what?
Well, I've only watched 3 of them so far, but like I'm to understand that they are, or if not, will be. Yes. But there's certainly a number of them there, and they're not, and they're unlike, and this annoys me, but I can see why they did it. Unlike the classic Mickey cartoons, they're not separate uploads. They're a series. There's a lot of, when you turn it on, there's a lot of, Mickey's Whirlwind and stuff that you have to. There's no telling what order they go in, and that annoys me because I want to watch them in production order.
Yeah. Oh, I seem to remember Chris saying that a lot of the Disney episodic stuff on there is wildly out of order.
So this is the thing. So I've also been trying to watch Ducktales, and
which one?
The new one, and it's really good. We knew that.
Sure, I want to catch up with it now that I have an easy way of doing it.
I know, yeah. I'd only seen maybe 2 episodes. Now I've seen a number of them. But that series, unlike the original DuckTales, is absolutely in a certain order.
Yeah, it's a serial, yeah.
It is a serial. I mean, the episodes kind of stand alone, but there's always callbacks to old, the last episode we watched, they called back to a character from a previous episode we'd watched that wouldn't have made any sense if we hadn't watched that episode, stuff like that. And not a small or idle one, like they became a main character in the episode. But no, Disney Plus there's nothing like the correct order they've uploaded them in, and there's 2 big problems with that. The first one is people who don't know that will watch them in the wrong order, and they may have a reduced experience. That might be fine. I mean, that's how we all grew up watching cartoons anyway. They played them out of order on British TV, not a problem. The bigger problem, though, is that they've made it very difficult to pick episodes that you want to watch.
Really?
So let's say you're watching. Imagine if, and they haven't, but imagine if Netflix had put the episodes of Deep Space Nine up in the wrong order.
Yeah.
What you would do is you would have a watching list in one hand on your phone, and your PlayStation controller in the other one, or whatever you're watching it on, and you would press the back button as you were watching. As you got to the end of one episode, you press back. That will get you to a little menu on the side of the screen, one of which is episodes and more, and you would select that, and you would be able to pick what episode. Disney Plus doesn't have a way for you to get out of the thing you're watching that I've found. If you find one, let me know. And into a list of episodes. Instead, what happens is you are just dumped onto the main screen. And if you then go back down to DuckTales, which it hides irritatingly far down the list because the continue watching bar is quite a way down. If you then go to DuckTales, it just puts you on the episode you were watching, and there again isn't an easy way to select episodes there. No, that can't be right. Yeah, no, that's right. That's right. But if you then search for DuckTales, or the algorithm happens to sort it into the suggested things bar, that stuff you might want to watch. But it tends to throw anything you've started watching off those bars. So I find that for every episode of DuckTales I have to watch, I have to go to the home menu, then to the search menu, then start typing in DuckTales. And you have to get quite far, because if you put Duck, there are 2 rows of films that come up before DuckTales, such as The Mighty Ducks, and just some stuff that doesn't. Beauty and the Beast.
What?
Some stuff that doesn't even have Duck in it.
Hang on, I'm just retrieving Iro. She's gone on a rampage.
Oh dear.
Give me a sec.
Okay.
Iro, come. Go home, you bird.
Chris says I should put it on my watch list. That might make a difference. I mean,
okay. I have a few on my I have a few on my watch list, and
me too. I
seem to remember that when you go on something on your watch list, you do get an episode list. So maybe that's how you do it.
Right. I'll try that then. Yeah, because it's been fiendishly difficult so far. It's been like a good 5 minutes work to get from one episode to the next, and I listed all the steps that it takes in a thread the other day, but I got quite excited and just started making it a joke. But there's a lot of steps.
Like I've got my phone here, and if I just click on my watch list and I click on Gargoyles, which I've started watching, it doesn't just load the next episode of Gargoyles. It gives me the episode list.
Great.
So that's something.
It depends on where the watch list is, because, like I say, continue watching is quite. They try and sell you on more stuff before you can get to the stuff you've already been watching. So I can only imagine.
Is in the sidebar.
Ah, that's all right then.
Yeah. So you can always access that.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a workaround, but
it's a workaround, but I find it an acceptable workaround. Yeah, that's what I'll do. So that's good. But I haven't even when I posted a big long ranty thread about it, nobody told me that. It's taken this situation where someone I knew happened to know. So I think they could make that a bit more intuitive. But now I know, so that's fine.
Yes. Chris has raised the point that he trusts you're working off the proper order that Frank Anjones pointed, not just looking it up on Wikipedia.
Let's find out. I haven't looked it up on Wikipedia. I've been going by a list that I found somewhere, but I couldn't tell you. I can't cite my sources. It's on Den of Geek, the list I've been using, and it is by Seamus Kelly. So I may have to compare that to the Frank Anjones one. Although I bet they just Is he the man from Ducktales?
Yes.
Yes, I think that they just reposted his.
Yeah, I can't see why Den of Geek would make up a third list.
Well, they might have done it before the correct list came out. Yes, Frank. Thankfully, co-executive producer Francisco Anjones. Yes, so that is the correct list. So yes.
Okay, yeah. Imagine if they had just made up their own list just to mess with.
Based on nothing.
Based on nothing.
Right.
It's not the Wikipedia list, and it's not the real list either.
Because presumably the Wikipedia list is this will be one of those.
It's air date order.
Right. So they were originally aired in the wrong order as well.
Yeah.
Why
do they do this? I don't understand. I don't understand.
But I know that it happens. I mean, like, I suppose I guess the model must be based on what's the word for not episodic series? You said it a minute ago. Serial. I guess the model was devised when things weren't serialized or something very often. Like I know, for example, that the cartoon that Abby works on is aired in a different order to the production order. But it doesn't matter because it's not a serial. So that's fine.
Sure, yeah, that's fine. Whatever. You can I don't have any problem if someone puts Teen Titans Go in a random order because it doesn't matter. It doesn't follow. But
Chris is saying that the air date wasn't nonsense. It still made sense, and they shuffled some things around for holidays.
Yeah,
but
that makes sense.
Whatever.
Yeah, I would still prefer to watch the
if there's a real order,
the producer mandated order. Yeah. That's fine. I'm all right with that.
Well, Chris says production order just flows a bit better, but the thing is, unless I'm deeply mistaken, the pilot episode is like 4 episodes in on Disney Plus. I'm pretty sure the episode called Woo-Ooh is got to be the first episode, right? That's like episode at least 3 on Disney Plus.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Because I've seen that.
Yeah, and it fully is the first episode. It's where the characters meet each other and end up in the same house. And yeah.
Let me have a look. Yeah, wow. Okay. That is madness.
Yeah. That's not sensible at all, is it?
No. I'm actually a little bit flabbergasted by that. I thought they'd at least put the first episode first.
Oh, Chris is saying that Disney Plus order is not air date order.
How could it be?
They have, like Den of Geek didn't, just made up a random order.
Yeah. Oh, Tanuki Billy says the Clone Wars cartoon is similar.
Yes, but that was deliberate.
Right, okay.
As I understand it, that was a storytelling choice. They made a series that just drops in stuff that happened at different times, and it just went on long enough that they were able to produce a correct chronological list, I suppose.
But again, though, I thought maybe it was in fact, Tanuki Billy, can you clarify whether this is, whether what you're talking about is it's airing in the same non-chronological order that it originally aired in, or is it a Ducktales situation where they've just made up a gibberish order of their own design for reasons unknown to anybody? If you could clarify that, that'd be great, because I want to rewatch Clone Wars.
And the gibberish order is also the name of the people who make these decisions. They're called the gibberish order.
I want to get in on that.
I know, yeah.
That's like a valuable addition to that order. Now that I've been fiddling around on my Disney Plus app, actually, I need to ask you a very important question.
Okay.
That it will have a big bearing on how I see you as a person from now on.
Right.
Which icon did you choose?
Oh, Ursula.
Ursula?
Yeah.
Interesting.
But I didn't choose it. I sat down today and turned Disney Plus on and was surprised to find that, because there hadn't been icons at all up until that point.
Yeah.
It had just got straight to the home screen. But no, Abby had set one up, and it was Ursula. So.
Oh, I see. So you guys don't have separate profiles?
No. Well, not yet. Maybe one day we will, but we're not watching things separately at this stage.
No. Okay. Yeah. No, I suppose you aren't. Right. Okay. So that was Abby's choice.
Yes.
Right. See, now that follows, because like when you said Ursula, I thought like, oh, that's an interesting, slightly left field choice for Dave. But now that you say Abby's chosen, it's like, well, okay, right.
Right. Yeah, Abby strikes you as a natural Ursula. Who did you think I would have picked?
I don't know. I'm struggling to think off the top of my head.
You're Jafar, though, yeah?
I mean, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, yeah. I had considered other options, but they were all before I saw that Jafar was there.
Chris is confusing me now in the chat. He says, DuckTales is mostly in air date order. And he's not, this isn't information he had. He's going, wait, hold on, I see it now. DuckTales is mostly in air date order, but the 2-part pilot is listed at the point that the episodes aired as separate episodes. It was a 1-hour special when it premiered. Yeah, but that doesn't explain why it's after 3 random other episodes, though.
Look, just stick with the order that you downloaded.
I mean, yeah, that's what I'm doing, and yes, yeah. a lot of it is the same order. You'll have runs of episodes that are all about the same.
Okay.
Oh, it was re-aired later as separate episodes, having been originally aired as a single long pilot. They then went, let's throw it on as episodes as well, and that is when it's there. Okay, but that was stupid though.
Yeah. Like, the whole thing from top to bottom is stupid at that stage. Yeah, okay. Well, at least Tanuki Billy has confirmed that the Clone Wars is aired in is listed in the order it was actually aired in.
Right.
That's fine. I can cope with that.
That's
all right.
Fine, yeah. Because that's a Narnia situation where, or a Discworld situation where fans have come up with an order that you should watch it in. Well, no, not a Discworld situation. A Narnia situation where, this is the chronological order. Usually, I don't hold with them. Normally, I'm strictly Lion the Witch and the Wardrobe first, Magician's Nephew whenever it comes, because I know that if that's the order in which it was authored, then that's the order, because that's
agreed,
when they came up with it. That you and if nothing else, you'll be able to see the production values increase in the right way. I don't know whether with Clone Wars there is any benefit to watching it in the right order or not.
I don't think so. Really. But I'm glad to see it's in an order that makes any sense. And I'm also glad to see that Chris has confirmed that Gargoyles is in the right order.
Oh, good, because I have never seen that and intend to watch it via this medium.
I have really enjoyed what I've seen of it so far. I've watched the first 5 episodes, which are one big intro.
Oh, sweet. That's a lot of episodes to be one big intro. Yay.
Yeah, I'm really liking it so far. It's like, it's got that Batman animated series vibe, because obviously it was very obviously the show that they created Gargoyles to compete with. But then it also has more of that kind of like edge of sort of character-based kind of cutesiness and comedy that you'd more expect for a Disney thing. So to me, it's blending 2 tones that I like both of. And certainly from that those intro episodes, it looks like it's doing a pretty good job with them. So yeah, I'm excited to see more of it. And, as an extra bonus for me and presumably for you as well, it's just rammed full of Star Trek people.
Yeah. That's one of the key things I'm looking forward to.
Yeah. It's just, I am loving how much the bad guy is. I mean, it's just Riker. Like, it's a drawing of Riker with a ponytail. And Jonathan Frakes is making literally no effort whatsoever to make his voice any different from just Riker's voice. And yeah, it's good. I like that.
Excellent.
That's exactly the kind of thing that I want. And yeah, like, looking at future, like a list of other Star Trek cast members who turn up in guest roles in it, and they're all the people who I want to randomly show up in a cartoon at some point.
Good.
Like, yeah, hell yeah. I will watch an animated series if you tell me that Avery Brooks is just going to randomly turn up at some point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fine. Brilliant.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Excellent. And yeah, so yeah, I'm looking forward to watching that. And yeah, it's just been a nice time dipping in and out of this stuff. And yeah, I appreciate that it's not as comprehensive as it should be.
Yeah.
And could be, but I'm hoping that I am hoping that this is something they're working towards, rather than this is going to be it by design, that it's just like, yeah, it's a service that's like 90% comprehensive, but we just don't have Tailspin or Bonkers for some reason.
Yeah.
It's like, no, please fix that.
Yeah. And I'm sure they will fix that.
Yeah.
I mean, if anything, my theory is that they're holding some stuff back so that there is more, because otherwise it'll start to feel like a dry well quite quickly unless they keep being able to go like, and now we've got this.
Yeah. No, I know. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that some of these things that aren't on there are things that they plan to add, and they plan to be able to say, hey, we've added this, and that's why it wasn't there. I mean, that's a silly reason to hold it back, but I can't imagine they were holding them back, per se.
Mm-hmm.
There must be a reason, but...
Maybe.
Yeah, the sooner they rectify that, the better.
I'm distracted by what Tanuki is telling me here, that they don't seem to have included the pilot extended episode of Tangled the Animated Series in their upload of Tangled the Animated Series. Whether that means it's on there at all or not.
I think what he means is that it's a separate thing. So
okay.
It's like I get.
So it is listed separately, right?
Yeah, I think that he means that it's the same thing as with the Clone Wars, where the Clone Wars movie is its own listing.
Well, that should just not be uploaded at all.
Agreed, but what I mean is...
Oh, Abby's interrupting us for some reason. What's up?
What's the name of the Tory boy in Final Fantasy VII again?
Chadley.
Chadley.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that it?
Just Maya wanted to know.
Oh.
Is Maya in the chat?
Yeah.
Alright, there you go. Maya.
There we go. So now we can move on. That's in the podcast now. This is an episode of Serious Disness forever, you know. She just replied, "Woo!"
That's fine. Like I said, the last episode we released just had quite a lot of surprising amount of conversation about what curry she was cooking that day.
I was wondering about cutting that out, but I liked it.
Yeah, I also liked it. Yeah. But yeah, no, yeah, I've just checked up with Tangled. Yeah, Tangled Before Ever After, which is the pilot movie, is a separate listing.
You see, that's fine, but I do wish there was an easy way to know what, like, that shouldn't there be a, like, when you go to Tangled, shouldn't it go Tangled, Tangled Before Ever After, Tangled the Animated Series, in that order, and suggest you watch them in that order? Instead, we're having to look stuff up, like with Ducktales, on almost every level of the Disney Plus thing, we're having to look up information about
we're gonna have
to
to do our own homework. Yeah,
and there's nothing to tell us that that's what we're supposed to do, or that.
No,
but then,
sorry,
no, it's alright. I was just going to say, but then I think this is something weird about me that maybe I shouldn't be passing on to expect other people to have, but I have always quite enjoyed being shown things in that order as a kid. I think my enjoyment of Ghostbusters as a franchise was improved by not knowing there was a film until after I'd watched the cartoon. Same with Bill and Ted, same with a number of other things. And here we have a situation where, like, I remember Sonic Sat AM and Mighty Max were two they spring to mind as things where Ducktales, where I'd already watched the series for a while by the time they ever aired the pilot.
Yeah,
and so like now I'm going, cool, the first story, this is how it starts. So I actually kind of secretly approve and hope that lots of kids accidentally watch the animated series and then watch Tangled, the original film, and are like, whoa.
Yeah, but they shouldn't watch Tangled the series before the first episode of Tangled the series.
No, I mean,
I don't think they should, because I've seen the whole first season of Tangled the series. That's very serialized as well. You just not get the story, like, because especially in the case of Tangled the series, where like one of the it's got quite a mystery narrative to it, like, so
right.
The kind of the key driving force of the mystery narrative is established in the opening movie.
Yeah.
So
right.
I kind of feel like if you just dove into the main bulk of the series, you kind of wouldn't understand a lot of what they're actually trying to achieve.
Yeah.
And that's not right. No, that's not how it should be.
It's weird that they've done it that way. It doesn't make sense, because I never even got, like, with the Clone Wars, that film came out in the cinema. It was palpably separate from the rest of the series. But with Tangled Before Ever After, like, maybe there was a gap between it and the rest of the series coming out. But
really.
No, I didn't think there was. I just thought it was the first episode of the series.
It was, and then they aired the next episode of it like a couple of weeks later.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I hope they fix some of this stuff. I mean, like, with that issue to do with, like, oh, what order are you supposed to watch all of these various component parts in? They have an inbuilt solution with that whole collections thing.
Yeah.
You know, you've seen that on Disney Plus, right? You know, where it's like, oh, you know, this.
I have no.
It's within the kind of like the interface of it, where it's like, oh, the Star Wars collection, the Darth Vader collection.
You mean like the tabs, the horizontal row of tabs at the top that's like Star Wars, Marvel, those?
Yeah, but there's things within those as well,
right?
Where it's like you can get even more kind of specific collections. If you just press the search button, you get quite a lot of. In fact, here it is.
Yeah, you're gonna have to show me, because I don't currently have the password for our account on my computer.
Yeah, you know, you get a whole bunch of like little recommendations or whatever,
right?
And you know, here, like the High School Musical collection, the Spider-Man collection, the Cars collection, the Darth Vader collection. And then when you click into all of those, it'll have like a curated selection of different, or, you know, comprehensive content, all of the stuff on Disney Plus that's Cars related, for example.
Yeah.
So, you know, they could solve that by doing the Tangled collection.
Yeah.
And then you click on that and all the Tangled stuff is there. The movie, the Before Ever After, the series, the shorts, all of that stuff. Yeah. So there's solutions. That's a pre-built solution that they can use to address some of that. But that doesn't fix the issue of, well, why don't you put the episodes in the right order?
Yeah. Is there a Disney Princess collection? Because that actually might already have what we're looking for, but we just never thought to look in it.
I'm sure there is one.
There's got to be, hasn't there?
But let me see whether it solves the Tangled problem. Disney Channel Princesses collection.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's just a massive giant list of like pretty much every single kind of princess related thing, in no particular order. So, you know, you wouldn't get any kind of clarity from this collection. It's like, you'd be like, oh, how does this narratively follow? First I was watching Sophia the First, and now I'm watching Return of Jafar. This doesn't follow on at all.
Return of Jafar is counted as a Disney princess film.
Yeah, has a Disney princess in it, right?
Yeah, but okay. I asked for a particular reason, and I'm going to go away and get that reason. So while my headphones are unplugged, I won't be able to hear you. But I'm totally going 2 paces this way.
Dave can't hear me right now. Dave's an idiot.
Returning with the thing.
God, I hate Dave. Dave absolutely is just god awful. Bloody hell.
Getting the headphones in and back.
Hello, Dave. You're back.
We have a book on our bookshelf that when I first heard of it, approved of and thought, oh, cool, but didn't think I would personally want. And then I got a copy of it, and it's like, oh, this is the Disney Princess Comics Treasury.
Okay.
Look first at the size of this flipping book?
This is going to be difficult because...
Oh, yeah, you can't.
I'm going to need to wait for...
Okay, sorry. So, Jahan, imagine a big, thick book. Everybody else, look at
I've got the YouTube link on, so I'll see you hold it up quite soon.
Well, it depends how long the latency is. But anyway, it's a very big book, and it's all comics.
Okay, I can see it on YouTube now.
Okay, and in a minute you're going to see me thumb through the pages, so keep your eye on it. It is a full-on, there's no filler, there are no puzzles, there's no you dress up a cutout princess. This is a big, fat book of comics explicitly aimed at girls, something you rarely see. I mean, I'm struggling to think of a not aimed at girls collection this big of comics. But what it is, when you actually look in it, it says like stories inside Snow White, Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, and you think, all right, so they're going to have drawn comics. No, this is an anthology trade collection of like classic Disney comic adaptations of their films, some of which are contemporary from when the films came out. So like we're looking at like the 90s, the Little Mermaid one. I'll hold it up and you can see it when it comes up. It's plainly drawn in 1989. Like it looks like it was printed then. It's got that flat colour to it. It just looks like it was. But then there's like a Princess and the Frog one that's a lot like there's higher production values.
So it goes all the way through to the modern day.
It goes all the way but it's not really in order. And also they've included so I've gone a bit further in the book and there's just a comic about Ariel, but it's not the adaptation of The Little Mermaid, which was earlier in the book. Here also,
you're holding it up in the video now.
No, that's the actual Little Mermaid one. And then later on, I'm not going to hold up anymore, so you don't need to keep looking. But there is a Return of Jafar adaptation.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, and that's what made me think of that. But presumably, there's also an Aladdin one. I say presumably, the book's too big for me to really find. If give this to a child, that is they will never get to the end of this book. It's the best value for money comic I think I've ever seen. And the only reason that I'm not the only reason I haven't given it to a child already is because I want it. This has got some great comics in it. Some of which I sort of remember coming out. This Little Mermaid one was in issues of Disney and Me in the 90s. I was like, flipping heck, it's amazing that this book exists. It's really weird that it wasn't I don't know, done with a bit more fanfare and maybe another couple of them brought out on different themes as well as the Princess one. It's brilliant.
So what are you saying? Do you think they should add that on to Disney Plus somehow?
Well, yes, but I hadn't thought of that. No, I'm merely bringing it up as an already existing precedent of Return of Jafar being a Disney princess product.
Okay, yeah. So what was your problem?
I didn't have a problem. I was just surprised.
Oh, right, I see. Okay.
I was surprised the first time, and I'm surprised the second time. That's a comic. That is a film, and this is a comic about Iago. And Jasmine's kind of in it, but not enough to make it a Disney princess property, the way Sophia the First or Beauty and the Beast are.
Yeah, I mean, well, it is a canonical story featuring Princess Jasmine.
Yeah.
In which, she is the subject of one of the most touching love songs of the entire Disney musical canon. I think we can agree.
We can absolutely agree.
And if you want, you can hear Dave perform that, at least in sections.
In part.
Yeah, in
the first episode of Frivolous Disness.
Yes, exactly. Go back to that.
I can't remember what it was.
It's a real treat.
I can't remember what it was called, but whatever the first one in the feed called Frivolous Disness is.
Yes, it's that one. But yeah, I say that in terms of adding things to Disney Plus. One of the things that I do like in Disney Plus, that's sort of over and above what we've seen from other streaming services, is there's extras on a lot of stuff.
Really? I haven't seen that.
Yeah, they're a little bit hidden, but
I mean, I haven't looked.
It's you kind of have to go through the interface a little bit to find it.
There was a brief moment where the sort of film I would imagine would have extras would be the recent Lion King, And
yes,
there was a brief moment where I might have found those because we were going to watch it because Abby still hasn't seen it. And then I realized that the only good thing about the film is how impressive the graphics are. And they've lowered the bandwidth for the pandemic.
Right.
So no, we're not watching it on Disney Plus. I wonder what Disney's like. Do Disney have a policy on if you have bought Disney Plus and then you torrent one of the things on it, does that still count? Because you have bought it and you are saving their bandwidth.
I'm going to say yes.
I reckon they probably would mind that, but I can't think of a reason.
No. But here's Coco.
Yeah.
Extras. There's a tab that says extras.
Oh, my word.
And then there's just some deleted scenes.
That's brilliant.
And stuff like that. Stuff from the DVD. And on some of the other ones, that's where on Last Jedi, for example, you'll find Rian Johnson's director's commentary.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, they're actually doing extras to some degree.
Until you said that, I thought that by extras it would be, that because Disney DVDs and Blu-rays have always had the sort of dodgy extras that are clearly adverts made for the Disney Channel or whatever. Yeah. I thought you just meant that, but if the actual director's commentaries and stuff are on there, that's great.
Yeah, that's it. So basically just some highlights from the Blu-ray or whatever. It's maybe with some of them, maybe it has all of the stuff from the Blu-ray because, frankly, they don't put that much on Blu-rays anymore. But
Jeremy has reminded me that, yes, the first episode of Frivolous Disness was called The Pitiful Denizens of Ipswich.
So it was.
So that's where you'll find me singing that song.
And also, speaking of The Pitiful Denizens of Ipswich, you gave me that Ursula book.
This Ursula book?
I don't know.
Take it from me. It's this Ursula book.
I assume it'll be on the feed shortly. But yes, I read all of that.
Yes.
And you were supposed to as well.
Totally forgot.
So that we could both review it.
Yeah.
And you never did.
No.
And now I've forgotten the entire book.
Yeah.
Because it was quite confusing.
Well, I think if I read it and make notes, that will make you remember it,
Yeah.
I think we'll still be all right to talk about it.
But did I make notes? I don't know if I made notes.
No, but I will. And then by doing that, the only reason I mentioned making notes is that's how I'll remember what happened in it, even the minute I close the book.
I mean, that's true. It is a very odd, confusing book. But yeah, you're still supposed to do that because I don't remember when you gave me that Ursula book now, but that was a while ago.
It was whenever we did the Pitiful Denizens of Ipswich, so it can be looked up. But I'm guessing we're talking a year ago.
Yes, at least.
Well, it was for more than one Christmas ago, wasn't it?
Oh yes, definitely.
It was when we saw Aladdin, wasn't it? Because then we came home. No, it wasn't. We recorded an Aladdin episode then. It was when we recorded. Might have been when we recorded Beauty and the Beast. Because then we recorded a normal episode, and then we recorded it, and it was whatever our first stereo episode turns out to be. Yeah, so it must be Beauty and the Beast because that's still to come. Anyway, never mind.
Oh, you guys are gonna love the Beauty and the Beast one.
Oh, yeah.
I kind of feel like I've been hyping it up when I've been posting about the previous couple of episodes, but that's just because it's a good episode. Basically, imagine what you know of us talking about that film, and it's that.
It's the worst film. I think Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland was a worse film, but yes. I think Beauty and the Beast made me more unhappy than Tim Burton's Alice did because
I agree.
Because
it's the one I have most disdain for, I think. And yeah, we really get into it. Have you edited that one yet?
No, haven't started. No, afraid not. It's going to be a while.
Did you remember how much the raw recording was?
No.
How long, I should say?
No, it's probably quite long. I remember it being a long one.
Yes.
It might even be a 2-episoder. We'll see.
Yeah, it might be. It might be. Oh, it's going to be worth the wait.
Yeah, that'll be all right.
I'm genuinely looking forward to it.
It's just two blokes whinging about a kids' film, really, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's the whole podcast. Don't rip down the curtain that much. Come on. Don't take the head off Mickey Mouse. Come on, let them enjoy the magic, enjoy the illusion. You guys will go on a magical journey with our episode about Beauty and the Beast.
Well, I think really the character of most of our podcast is you would expect the two men to whinge about this film, but actually we take it seriously and don't necessarily just whinge. Yeah. With Beauty and the Beast, we really tried not to whinge about it.
But it's impossible.
It's absolutely categorically impossible. There's nothing in it that it's possible to not whinge about.
But I think it was even-handed as much as is possible.
Well, I think that's why it's worth listening to, because that is an example of two people honestly trying their best to be as fair as they possibly can, and still with that honest balance, with that honest judgment, what comes out is just whinging, because that's what this film deserves.
Yes, agreed. How long have we been going for?
Absolutely ages. We've been going for an hour and 40 minutes.
Should we get to the letter?
I say we get to the letter and then wrap it up.
Sure. So, let me find the letter.
It'll be very quick for me to find it. Shall I do that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you go on.
Well, who wants right here?
Who wants to read it out?
Well, if I'm the only one who's got it, me. If you want to find...
I also have it.
Ah, right. Oh, I don't know then.
And I am the one in the position to tell you who it was from.
Oh, well, then there we are.
It was from I assume, listener of ours, going by Emily Panda Jarrell.
Okay.
Who I'm afraid I don't know from Twitter or anything like that. So if you are on Twitter and you listen to this, or indeed if you're in the chat now, please show yourself, identify yourself, and we will shout out to you.
Yes, if you're an Emily I know, then I don't know that that's your second name. So
yes, or that Panda is your middle name.
No,
if indeed that is true. But they have sent us a very nice letter, very thought-provoking letter, as feedback to our late December review of Frozen 2, which I do think is worth addressing. And
okay.
Dave, take it away. And I don't think, this is a nice letter, so you don't need to read it in a stupid voice.
Okay, I don't need to do a condescending voice. Right.
No.
They say, "Hello, Dave and Jahan. I found out about your podcast after hearing Dave appear on an episode of Trends Like These." Oh, yes, that's another podcast that I'm not on very often, but I'm the UK correspondent for a US news. Most people watching this will know who Brent Black, Brental Floss is. He has this podcast, and I've gone on it a couple of times. And most people on the internet know who Travis McElroy is, and he was on it up until recently, and lots of people know who Courtney Enlow is, and she was on it. Anyway, I heard Dave appear on an episode of Trends Like These, and have been working my way through episodes for a few weeks now. Smiley face. I just got caught up... Now, my voice is going now. I just got caught up recently around the time you guys talked about Frozen 2, which I was pretty excited about because I'd recently seen it. You guys had a lot to criticise about it, which is fair because its story is quite a mess. But one comment you made stuck out to me in particular. In comparing Into the Unknown to Let It Go, you said that Into the Unknown doesn't really work outside of the film's specific context, whereas Let It Go does. But while I will admit the lyrics are a lot more specifically referential to Frozen 2's plot than Let It Go, I feel a deep connection to Into the Unknown as a queer woman. Everyone and their mum has talked about Let It Go as an LGBTQ+ anthem, but for me, Into the Unknown really captures the spirit of discovering one's own queerness, hesitating, and deciding to embrace it, even in the face of potential adversity. The melody calling to Elsa is the budding notion that even though you're trying to do everything you can to live up to the expectations heteronormative society has thrust upon you, there is something different about you that you can't quite place. Self-discovery and living authentically are rightfully characterized as freeing, but it can be as terrifying as it is exhilarating. Into the Unknown really resonated with this feeling for me. Am I projecting onto a song from a film for children? Absolutely. And I certainly don't know how either of you identify as far as orientation goes, so I hope I don't come off as though I'm asserting that the song should be considered definitively queer. On the contrary, I'd be extremely surprised if any of what I took from the song ever crossed the minds of its writers or any substantial percentage of people who watch the film, but overthinking movies for children is the whole premise of serious Disness, is it not? Anyway, I really do love the show and sincerely hope that both of you are well, given the, just as vaguely, current state of the world. Looking forward to future episodes. Emily. Emily, you are by no means alone. I've absolutely
not
heard
at all.
This.
Not at
yeah,
all.
I've heard this said about that song, and in fact, I had already heard it said when we recorded the podcast.
Yeah, same.
We found,
and I think "Show Yourself," her subsequent song, kind of has very similar connotations. To be honest.
Yeah. There is something a bit obfuscating about it, I think, where the film and I kind of disapprove of this. The film keeps kind of trying to undermine that message, I felt, by show yourself, oh, it's her mum, or like the Into the Unknown. I can't remember what the mitigating factor there is, but I kept feeling as if they were trying to as if some executive was in the background going, not gay though. But yeah, no, that I mean, I don't know because I'm not LGBTQ, but I recognize that there is a parallel there. It's
absolutely there is, yeah.
It's not quite as. I think that perhaps the difference is that, and I can't really remember what difference we were bringing up at the time, but now I would say that if there's a difference, it's that Let It Go is something which can be played in a number of circumstances, and nothing need change unless I'm forgetting some lyrics. Someone can sing it at that gay wedding we mentioned, and it appear to be entirely about that. Whereas Into the Unknown has certain plot-specific details that anchor it a little bit more in the story of the film, even if while you're watching the film, you are being encouraged to recognize the parallel, perhaps.
I would say, actually, like, because I revisited the lyrics of both Into the Unknown and Show Yourself before this podcast, just to, so I knew what we would be talking about, and they are less specific than I thought they were. There is there's the thing in both of them where they're making a very specific reference to the fact that there is a voice calling me.
That was the bit,
to find a mystery.
And I felt as if even though that is applicable, something about that struck me as literal. And I think I'll tell you when it happened. Actually, it wasn't while I was watching that song. It was when the pop version came on again.
Agreed.
And suddenly, removed from the context, it suddenly sounded like that's very odd that you would use that "which I'm not" aside in the pop version.
Exactly, yeah. And that's like using the sort of, if you did a pop version of like Love Is an Open Door or something, and you did the whole finish each other's sandwiches thing, you know what I mean? Like,
or if one singer's singing it and goes, "We finish each other's sandwiches," that's what I was going to say.
Yes, exactly.
And you go, well, you could have just missed that line off.
Yes, that's exactly it. Like, there's stuff like that I do feel anchors it into the specific plot of Frozen 2 more so, but I do think it's a song that does have kind of like a lot of metaphorical resonance. Absolutely.
And I think more. I think that's the difference. I think they did intend that to be a metaphor more than they did when they were writing Let It Go.
Same. And Show Yourself is quite the same.
Yeah.
I think my issue with both of them is there's something... And this is speculation, and this is it's just based on, like, frankly, something that I read another film writer say. Right. There's something about Frozen 2's songs that feel generic in what story they're telling within the context of the film, to the point where makes me feel like, did they lock the songs down before they locked the script down? And before they lock the story of the film down.
Right.
So, you get a song like Show Yourself or whatever, which is this song about, like, this is... Hang on, I want to just bring up the lyrics of Show Yourself. Okay. Just so that I know exactly what I'm talking about with it. Okay. But it's like, Show Yourself in particular is this big, 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 bold song about, like, like I've finally reached it. I've finally reached this destination that's kind of going to unlock everything about myself. Yeah. Everything that I've like all my. It's kind of a song that's sort of like my whole life has been leading up to the, it's the sort of the culmination of what's in Into the Unknown. It's kind of like, I'm no longer trembling. Here I am. I've come so far. You are the answer I've waited for all my life. Show yourself. Let me see you. Let me see who you are. That kind of stuff. I'm found. I'll, step into the power, throw yourself into something new, all that kind of stuff. It's such a kind of a powerful lyric about like, I was called out by the voice of adventure in Into the Unknown to sort of like step outside this comfortable rut that I lived in. And, this form of self-denial that I was encapsulated by. Yeah. And now I've reached it. And here it is. It's on the cusp. I'm going to take it. Show yourself. Show me what it is you're going to show me about myself. And what it is in the plot of Frozen 2 is it's an exposition flashback that kills her.
Yeah. It doesn't. What actually happens? By the way, I've since watched Frozen 2 again, and I enjoyed it.
Okay.
Yeah, and I enjoyed it more than I did when I saw it at the cinema. I watched it with Abby. We had just a really nice time. But,
sure.
Yes, there's something a bit flimsy, like with Frozen 1. Now and then, a bit of flimsiness will make you go, "Oh, that doesn't fully connect to that." And I think that's one of them where. The song is great. I love both of those songs, and including the animation and the presentation of them. They're great. And then, then the film is left having to come up with a story for that. And I see what you mean. I'd never thought of it in those terms, but yes, one way to describe that is it feels as if the song was locked down before the script was, or even what's going to happen was fully decided on. Yeah, it does. I'm not saying that's necessarily what it is, but that is what it feels like happened.
Yeah. It's like, I know that within the context of the film, you can see a different way. It's like, when she goes in to the exposition room after Show Yourself, what she finds is like the truth of her people and, the truth of Arendelle's past, and it shows her what she needs to become to sort of save the world and self-actualize. She needs to become this kind of this nature queen or whatever. Yeah. And that is, by the end of the film, shown to be like, that's where she was really meant to be.
Yeah.
But it's just, there's a certain vagueness, I suppose. Like, so, and that vagueness is a double-edged sword insofar as it's what makes it really very possible and easy and like nice to there's plenty of room within Into the Unknown and Show Yourself for someone to go in there and just stretch their legs out and be like, this song can in a lot of ways mean metaphorically what I need it to mean for myself. And I want to be really clear, Emily, and anyone who's listening, I don't mean that as a criticism. I don't by any stretch of the imagination think that you are incorrectly projecting yourself onto this song. I think it's designed to be kind of all things to all people.
I actually think it's the other way around. I think this one is designed to be. I think it is supposed to be that. I think what you read in it, Emily, is what it was intended for, and then. But it was done so that conservatives in America can convince themselves it's not about that by reading their own thing into it or just taking it literally. And I think that's the balance that they had to, or felt they had to hit. Personally, I was on team give Elsa a girlfriend. I think that is something they should have done. But, America,
See, I take that, and I agree with that. But I also think that maybe there's a less... cynical, risk-averse version of that where it's just like, we want to be all things to all people. Yeah. So, like, we don't want anyone to watch this who feels like they've got a repressed side of themselves that they want to self-actualize. Yeah. We don't want anyone to watch this and feel like they can't see themselves in our songs this time. Like, and that's cool, but it also removes the specificity. Like, as much as the song feels specific to the plot of Frozen 2 in some ways, thematically it doesn't feel super specific to me. And that works for the songs, but I think it comes at the expense of the plot. Or the plot didn't come to the level of the songs, or it didn't find a way to link itself into the songs in that kind of like holistic, thematically completely watertight version that I would have liked.
Yeah.
So that
like a less extreme Cats, where there's the sense that the script has been cobbled together to link the songs together rather than than it being a single unit.
Sure. Much less extreme than Cats.
Much less extreme than Cats, but then most things are.
Yeah. But like I say, that's why I feel like Frozen 2 thematically and story-wise, it feels a little bit of a it's just a little bit of a smorgasbord. It's like a buffet of different ideas, but I find it difficult to kind of lock down. It's like, yeah, but what's this film actually saying and what's it actually about? Because it's sort of like, I agree with all of that stuff, but then it's like, but what does that actually have to do with this really half-hearted colonialism plotline that you have in there?
Yeah.
Like, how does the self-actualization as a LGBT person side of it, which is definitely there, tie in with the colonialism is bad and we need to kind of deal with the legacy of colonialism side of the film? I don't see those as tying together in the way that, like, the first Frozen, for as ramshackle as it was, it was at least, all of the parts of it at least felt like they were trying to be part of the same singular story, even though some of the writing didn't quite polish it up to the level that it should be. Whereas with Frozen 2, I sort of felt like also that the writing didn't polish itself up to the level it needed to be, but also that there were parts in that of several different stories, and not all of which felt completely compatible. Which is why you get stuff in there like I said, I mean, I don't know if this, because you said you've seen it again, I don't know if this was any clearer to you the second time, but this idea that Olaf's storyline in Frozen 2 is something about he wants to be a grown-up now.
It like, within Frozen 2, it was light. It wasn't a very strongly followed thing, but it came out of absolutely nowhere at the start of, like, when he started talking about it, it was like, well, that wasn't anything to do with who you were before. But I still haven't seen that half-hour short that goes between the films, so maybe it's in that.
I suppose, yeah, maybe it is.
Well, it could be, because it's about Olaf. Is it on Disney Plus? Dare I ask? It is.
It is.
So I can watch that one.
You can watch it, and you can now watch it in an ideal circumstance, which is not sitting there twiddling your thumbs while you're waiting for Coco to come on, which is the context that everyone else saw Olaf's Frozen Adventure.
I think they needed to have a lot more warning of how long it was, because that must have felt so long when you're used to a 5-minute Pixar short.
Yeah, no, I know.
Isn't it like 20 to 30 minutes long or something?
Yeah, it's like the length of an episode of a cartoon, basically, which is like 22, 25 minutes or something, which is you should not put that at the beginning of Coco, which is in itself like a robust film.
Yeah. I find it perfectly acceptable because, of course, my first cinema experience, half an hour of the Wuzzles leading into Bambi, but people want warning about it, I think. There needs to be a... Yeah.
There's a lot of talk in the chat right now about, and I think it's maybe worth us touching on, the fact that Disney do seem to have been in a bit of a confused rut recently about the degree to which they want to go all in on LGBTQ representation in their films.
They want to be. I am very cynical about this. I think they want to be seen to be doing it, but they don't want to do it. Not because like, there'll be loads of people there who would love to do it, but I think they're just going like, no, we'd get in trouble, so they don't want to do it. And
the thing is, like Jeremy points out, they do get in trouble. Like, that's real, Yeah,
like, so why don't they just do it then? Yeah, they should. That's what they should do. Their argument to their own shareholders or whoever it is that they're shying away from it for should be, we're gonna get in trouble even if we hinted it in the background. So let's get in trouble for doing something good.
But then I guess maybe they're worried that the shareholders will be like, oh, then don't do it.
Yeah. And
then they'd have to listen to them.
Yeah.
Or whatever. I can see this from both sides because, you know what? There's all of these recent kind of like blink and you'll miss it.
Yeah.
Gay and lesbian representation that they've been doing in Disney studio movies. I put them on a continuum of understandability, for example. So I thought the conversation in Avengers Endgame and the lesbian character in Onward were, yeah, they're blink and you miss them, but they were okay. You know, they within those scenes, it's like, oh, that's perfectly okay, nice scene, sure. You know, it's not, sure, it's not a main character, but it's nice to have a character there, sorry, who it feels like, oh, okay, they're LGBTQ, and it's normal and it's fine, and none of the other characters bat an eyelid, that's fine, that's cool. Whereas then you've got the stuff like the same-sex kiss at the end of Rise of Skywalker and that ridiculous thing in Beauty and the Beast, where it's just like, what even is that? Like,
yeah, I don't even know what they were going for.
Yeah, what am I or anyone meant to take from this? Like, you know, how is this 1 second shot empowering or important to anybody? It's like, this is nothing. You know what I mean?
Unfortunately, in the ones you've just said, that's more or less the only one where I've actually seen it, because I haven't yet seen Rise of Skywalker or Onward, so I don't know what is in them.
You saw Avengers Endgame.
Yeah, but it was ages ago. I can't remember what you're referring to.
There was the one scene in the beginning where Captain America is holding like the grief counseling session, and there's a guy there who's talking about a date he went on where he was feeling bad about the whole thing. And it's fine. It's like, it's a perfectly nice scene that, you know, it works as a scene for Captain America, and it's nice. It's, you know, it's, again, at least I saw it as like, oh, well, fine, it's nice. Here, you know, he's talking to a gay guy. It's perfectly normal. Captain America doesn't bat an eyelid at it. He just, you know, he's consoling about it and all that. So it's like, all right, I understand what, in that sense, I understand what the good intention is there. And I can see someone getting something out of the good intention there, even though it is limited and it is not what you'd want.
Yeah.
If you were actually wanting them to go to the whole hog with it. Yeah. Whereas the stuff in Rise of Skywalker or Beauty and the Beast, it's like, no, I literally don't even see what the idea is here. Like, what could anyone possibly get out of this? At that point, it's so limited that it just feels like you're asking for brownie points.
Yeah.
So it's tough. I understand both sides of it insofar as, yeah, I get that, you know, they're a big corporation and, yeah, like, they are part of and, you know, part of the structure of a system that makes those things risky and difficult and makes them have to face hard questions from people who we don't like to think have power in the world, but do.
Yeah.
And they're kind of not in a position. They are and they aren't in a position to ignore that power. You know what I mean? Because, yeah, they're subject to that power, but also they're part of what creates that power.
Yeah.
So if they took a big, bold stand, then surely they could break the system down. But to what you know what I mean? Like, that's why I'm mixed on it, but I obviously fall more in the camp of, yeah, but they should do more.
Yeah.
They should do more and could be doing more. And the only thing that gives me comfort at this stage is definitely they will do more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Clearly.
Obviously they will. It's just a shame that you can measure. I suppose you could use the point at which they really, really do it as the way to measure, like, how long it's been since they should have done it for it to be. Do you know what I mean? When they do it, it will be because it's become so ordinary to do that it's not them sticking their neck out at all.
No, and at that point, you can't really give them credit for being trailblazers.
Yeah.
Like, it kind of feels like sometimes they want to be seen as trailblazing with this stuff, and that's why they should stop promoting these moments.
Yeah, it's really weird that they do.
Yeah, they should really stop promoting it.
Yeah.
What they should do, if this is all they're going to do, don't say anything about it.
Yeah.
And then if anyone questions them, don't try and take credit for it. Just say, well, we put it in there because it's normal, whatever.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And then...
Because then you've exposed the question as the problem.
Exactly, yeah. Rather than, oh, we're really brave for having done this. So that's where I have the issue. So, yeah, you know, like I say, on some level, I'm kind of resigned to the fact that a company of the size of Disney, maybe they won't really get to do this until a point where everyone's doing it to the point where it's not even notable for Disney to be doing it. And at that point, you give credit to society rather than to Disney for having made the progress. But it's hard because Disney obviously wants to be seen as being at the forefront of it. But so far, they've not earned the right.
This is why many, including myself, were excited about the prospect that Frozen 2 might be where they do it.
Because that would be them being at the forefront.
That would be them being at the forefront, really sticking their necks out, taking a risk, doing a thing that is good, and they didn't, and that's why it does bug me that there is ambiguity to be found in the song. That, like, yeah, I agree, is clearly it's about that, right? Or at least it's written for people to recognize as being about that. And so yeah, it would have been nice if there was more. Evidently they didn't. Maybe they found they couldn't. Who knows how it went down?
Because I see a comment here from Perodis Equilibrium saying, at this stage of Monopoly, the fact that Disney still don't do more is inexcusably cowardly.
Yeah.
I can empathize with that. Because certainly of anyone in pop culture, they're the people who have the power to do it. But the thing is, it's not a rebuttal to that, because I don't want to rebut that. But I suppose my counterpoint to that is they still only monopolize pop culture, and pop culture is big, and they have done more than anyone else to make pop culture bigger than ever. But they don't own world culture yet. They don't own the cultures of Russia or Saudi Arabia or China. I'm sure they'd love to, but they currently don't. And so there's still forces that are bigger than them that I feel that they would think, oh, well, we still have to kind of or indeed like conservative Christian culture in America and so forth. They don't own those. They are probably big enough they could take a dent out of them, or take a dent out of the parts of them that we see as regressive. And they could do more. But I also do understand why they still think they need to be timid about it. I get that, even if I don't agree with it. And I do think, they could do more. So it's a tough one. But like I say, I do think they will do more. Yeah. It's just we need to resign ourselves to the fact that they're not going to do it as fast as we'd like them to. Yeah. They're just not. It's clear. They've shown that. They've shown that they want to push in that direction, but that they're not going to be the trailblazers here that we'd like them. Yeah.
I mean, we might even be looking at another example of what we've talked about on the series before, where it's difficult to decide what Disney is, because we think of it, and it is simultaneously an artistic collective and a terrifying corporation. And those are almost two separate things that operate under the same name. And I absolutely believe that the artists at Disney would love to push that sort of thing. And I also believe that they won't be allowed to. And
because of the company side of it.
Yeah. And that's just one of the things you have to acknowledge about Disney, is that there are two things called Disney. One of them's really good, one of them's really bad, and they both are attached to each other at all times.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of true of the world in general in a lot of ways. I mean, I think the struggle that you see there it's reflective of the struggle that you see just in society in general. There's going to be the same arguments we're having here will have been had within Disney.
Oh, yeah.
And just like you and I are not powerful enough to make that reality in real life, the us's within Disney are presumably not powerful enough to overcome the kind of the forces that are stopping this from happening. Yeah. So we'll see. All we can do is just continue monitoring it and holding them to account if we don't think they're doing well enough. And
I think there'll be a change quite soon, because it's been so many films in a row now with that same thing where it's like, we've got LGBTQ rep in this. Yeah. No, you haven't. That was a ludicrous statement when you finally see the film. That can't carry on without breaking in some direction or another.
Yeah. No, I know. Another comment here, Mr. M. How many times have they used their power to shut up the critics? You think they couldn't use that power to silence the critics to make an LGBTQ representative movie? I think the thing that they're worried about is, I think they can shut up critics. I don't think they can shut up Russia. You know what I mean? Or Saudi or China or the American conservative right.
And what are we talking about? Are we talking about selling the films in those areas, or are we talking about...
Yeah, or just kind of like being able to kind of like bulldoze through the narrative and make people accept that, no, we're Disney, this is what's happening with this property, and you'll like it or lump it because we're Disney. Like, yeah, it's true. Disney do have the power in all realms of popular culture to bulldoze like that. But I don't know if they have that on a scale of like kind of global politics. But I don't know, maybe they do. Maybe they do.
We'll see.
But if they do, then that's also bad.
Yeah, that's the thing. Anyway, look, all we can say is we hope that they do it. And until they do, we can only wait.
They have immeasurable, terrifying power. The only thing we can hope for is they use it for good and not evil. That's kind of where we're at with Disney. And right now, they're using it for a lot of good, a lot of evil, and some bits in between.
Disneyland, for instance.
Disneyland, for instance. Wait, that's an in-between.
I think so, yeah. That's the perfect measure, the perfect marriage of like corporate capitalism and but people really like it and it enriches lives.
Yeah, like unfettered, amazing creativity, like the kind of creative work that you could only have by having billions behind you.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh God, our Disneyland is a beautifully conflicting place to be in. Like I said, if you want more on that, listen to my podcast where we talked about that.
Yep, we have a Disneyland episode. I think it's probably just called Disneyland or something like that.
It was something like that.
Yeah.
But listeners, don't you worry. We will continue trying to grapple with this.
Yeah. I mean, all we can do is see what they do and respond. We know what we'd like them to do.
Yeah.
We can't make them do it.
No, we can't. Not yet.
Not yet.
But we have a Patreon now.
Yes, and if we amass enough funds to buy a controlling share in Disney,
which is the end game,
obviously, yeah, of course it is.
Yeah.
So you can help us with that. That is patreon.com/ and then I assume Serious Disness.
You assume.
I mean, it probably is. That's probably what I set up, isn't it?
Literally set it up.
Yeah, a while ago.
Right, yeah.
Let's find out. Patreon.com/ Serious Disness. Because the thing is, we've never really told anybody about it. There aren't any rewards yet. We haven't sorted that out. We're making $2 per month on it. Yes, Serious Disness. So if you want to take us from between $2 to the untold billions it takes to buy a controlling share in Disney, then you can add to that at your leisure.
And I just want to say, by the way, that $2 pledge literally just came through during this stream from Jeremy L. Kayan.
Oh, thank you, Jeremy.
So thank you. Shout out to you as our literal very first Patreon.
Hey, you've joined the good fight.
You have joined the good fight. And the first Patreon reward you're going to get from us is you now have an opportunity before the end of the stream to let me know if we are pronouncing your name correctly.
It's the least we can do.
It's the literal very, very, very least we can do.
There's no rewards on there yet. Same as with STCTP, my other podcast. We haven't yet produced anything that's like crap enough to not go in the main series. Maybe this is the first time.
That's what we're going to say, though. Like, if we get to a certain on Patreon, this is probably going to be the kind of thing we do more of, like more live streams.
This is something we can actually do that doesn't take... Oh, what? Abby's thought of things we could do. What?
I don't like the sound of that.
What?
Do Patreon streams of Disney games.
Oh, yeah, we can do a stream where we play Aladdin or whatever, can't we? Yeah.
But also do like weird old adaptations.
I don't know how many old Disney games there are.
There's loads. There's loads.
Oh, you only mean... Oh, she just meant The Little Mermaid. I thought you meant, like, if there was a ZX Spectrum Mickey Mouse game or something.
I mean, we should.
If there is, we will. But I don't think. I think we know about all the Disney games because I think they made a big song and dance about them all.
I bet there's like a rubbishy Disney princess thing that they probably did.
There might be. Okay, so yeah, that's an option. And also we're going to read the Ursula book together.
Yes, we will. We will. That might go out on the regular podcast though.
Yeah.
Like, because I think we promised that.
That's
just
right.
Like,
that's right.
We promised the Mr. Boogedy episode, which is gonna happen.
That's gonna be a normal episode. It's only this pandemic that's delayed it. We're gonna. I remember now. We're gonna read this book as a normal episode, and then we're gonna, as Patreon exclusives, get more of them.
Yes. Oh, good. Jeremy has confirmed that. Yes, I was pronouncing the name correctly. Hooray!
That's a good place to go out on, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. So,
everybody,
thank you.
Come and listen to our podcast. This has been a sample of a podcast we do. It is called Serious Disness. You'll find it on your Apples. You'll find it on your, other stuff. I found it on Podbean. I can't swear it's everywhere. It's not on SoundCloud.
The main places are Apple Podcasts and the direct download.
Yes, we have a direct download website, which is seriousdisness.wigglehe.com. seriousdisness.wigglehe, as one word, .com. I don't know if you remember, I did a song called Wiggle He. There's a website tied in with it that it's hosted there. I apologize, it's a stupid URL, I know, but that is currently where it is.
And yet you almost forgot it.
Well, I was trying to remember the format of it. I had that. Do you ever have that thing where just for a moment you're like, what's got ats in it? No, that's email addresses. I did that.
Oh, okay.
I was going to go like seriousdisness@wigglehe.com. No, incorrect.
You remember very little about this podcast, do you?
I remember very little about anything. And today, I found out that might be a symptom of B12 deficiency, which I am not going to get my injections of until this is all sorted out. So it's only going to get worse.
Okay. See, this is why you all need to get on the Patreon.
Yeah, no, there's nothing. No, finance can't help with that. I can't just buy my way into. Wait,
can't you?
If I had as much money as, let's say, a Jeff Bezos, then I could.
Which is again the goal.
Then I could, as he could, at any moment, afford to put in the infrastructure that would make us able to isolate. The PPE would be everywhere. We'd have everybody would be tested every morning. It would, and throughout the day, I'm sure probably about as much money as can be poured into making a vaccine probably already is. But all the other stuff, I'll take care of the way Jeff Bezos could. He doesn't. Every day he doesn't. And then I could go and get my B12 injections, and then I'd remember to. Well, this is the problem. I wouldn't have set all that up because I'd forgotten to do it. Maybe Bezos has got a B12 deficiency.
Between us, we could though.
Yes. There you go.
That's what's going to happen. If you pledge to our Patreon, we're going to become the benevolent billionaire dictators of the earth.
Stretch goal. Stretch goal, we'll cure coronavirus. If we make however much money Jeff Bezos has got. That
we cure all disease.
Yeah. And I'm prepared to cap it there. I don't think we need to go any higher than the amount of money Jeff Bezos has got. And at that point we'll say we'll do it. We'll cure all disease. Nobody else has to put a single penny into the.
After that point,
we'll cap it.
We don't want to be greedy.
No, in fact, I'll go a step further. When we hit the amount of money Jeff Bezos has as of today, then whatever that total is today, I will actually refund any further pledges after that.
Will you?
Yeah.
I don't know that I will. I even in this hypothetical situation, I feel like I'm already starting to become power mad.
Just from thinking about it.
Just from thinking about it. Bear in mind, my life goal is Jafar.
Yeah.
Jafar wouldn't refund Patreon pledges. He wouldn't.
He wouldn't. No, you're right.
So.
No, you're right there. Okay, but I would. So that is another way that we would balance one another. Now, understand. I'm not digging into the pot for this. The money bin stays where it is. I was saying when someone makes any further deposits, they get that money back. But we stay with the amount of money that Bezos has got.
No, Jafar wouldn't do that.
No, I know he wouldn't. I would. I think I am morally that bit above Jafar in that way, and therefore you.
And therefore me. All right, well, we'll have that argument
when the time comes.
When the time comes. Okay, so that is the end goal of the Serious Disness podcast. We'll fall apart bitterly.
Yes.
At that point, and then that's the end of the podcast. But it'll be fine because we'll have cured all disease at that stage.
Yeah, what more do you want from us? Come on. We can always walk away from that friendship having known that, yes, it fell apart, but we did that, so it was worth it.
Exactly, yeah. So now that you guys know that's, I feel like we set out a pretty clear pathway for the podcast, so you can all get on board with it now. So in the medium term, live streams of Disney games. Long term, end of disease, I become Jafar. See where that goes.
Yeah.
And I'm hella ruling Agrabah, Mr. M. Agrabah's the first place I'm gonna buy.
Yeah. Well, you'll have to buy somewhere that looks the most similar to Agrabah that you can find and rename it Agrabah.
Yes, I will do that.
And he will do that. So that's a risk because you can already...
A risk or a stretch goal?
Well, it's a risk in the sense that, like, we can all tell that wouldn't be a good thing to do, right? Like, just to take an existing town, purchase it, change its name to the name of a fictitious, borderline racist caricature of that town... and then that's what it is from now on, the Disney vote. That's not a good thing to do. So that's the risk you run. On the other hand, cure all disease. And
also, Agrabah looks fun.
It looks great.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, no, it looks absolutely brilliant. I'm secretly in favour of the plan, but only because I'm not yet at this point educated as to what place we're specifically talking about that you'd be wiping off the map to replace with this sort of Disney-fied Disneyland version of itself.
Well, we're going to find out soon.
However, I'm prepared to take back any concerns I may have as long as I'm allowed to fill it up with animatronics of Disney characters.
100%. 100%.
Then I'm fully with you.
I'm going to win you round. There isn't going to be a falling out.
No.
You're just going to get completely on board with my plan.
I'm going to cure disease, though, so, like...
Yeah, whatever.
Well, no, I think that'll be the way you'll win me round, because, literally, what matters after that? How evil are we going to be, really? If we controlled the world...
and we defeated all disease.
Yeah.
People are going to be like, the whole Agrabah thing, we'll let that slide, right?
I'm staunchly anti-Tory, and that makes me better than the current rulers we have. So, like, how bad can it be?
So, as you can see, plenty to look forward to from the Serious Disness podcast.
And life.
The two of things which will become increasingly indivisible as time goes on. For now...
You saw it here first. It all started here.
So it started. Jeremy, you are patient.
The first contributor.
Patient zero in this. You built the first building block to whatever this new world order is.
And look, I know I've been talking about how good of a ruler I would be, but I'm not necessarily definitely prepared to give him so much as a medal for that, let alone like a title at the top of the government, because I don't know what Jeremy is gonna be.
Look, we pronounced his name correctly. Isn't that thanks enough?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know how you'd be at working directly under the dictators of the whole globe. So I can't guarantee you'd have a position in our government. Sorry about that. Maybe for more than $2, I'd think about it.
I mean,
if you put in the first billion, in fact, I will give you a position in the government for $1 billion.
It feels like we've gone from having no stretch goals, like many, many stretch goals.
And we're already at the point of deep corruption as well. We've reached that very early on in our campaign.
Yeah, well, we're up front.
Yeah.
The whole
we
point...
tell it like it is. You can have a beer with us.
That's it. The whole point of a Patreon or a Kickstarter is you want to be transparent, right?
Yeah.
That's what all the worst ones get criticized for.
No, that's what it is. We make Patreons so that we can afford to become transparent, so that we can sneak around like a ghost.
Because that'll make every evil thing we're trying to do a lot easier.
Yeah. A lot easier.
A lot easier. Right. Okay. So, all right. Forget what we said about no stretch goals for the series Disness podcast. Like, there's a lot of stretch goals. You'd be investing in something very big by getting involved in this.
Oh yeah. So, let me tell you, there'd be a return on that investment. It wouldn't be monetary, and it wouldn't necessarily be any kind of gain, but you'd have no diseases, so...
Exactly. That's a gain. Right now, that's a gain.
That's a gain. So I can guarantee... I suppose I can't guarantee we'd be able to cure all diseases.
No, we can.
Oh, right. Well, so then that is a guarantee.
Yeah, we can.
Bye. Go away.
Thank you for joining us. And go away now. There's the rest of an Easter Monday for you to enjoy. Yeah. Bye.
Bye. Wait, keep saying goodbye because I haven't found the button that turns it off.
Oh, bye.
Bye.
Go.
Oh, I found the button. Here's the button. Bye.